Well, hello everybody out there, and welcome to the 2020 Light Up the Lakeshore Student Business Idea Competition. My name is Jeff Sachse, and I am the founder of Raleigh Point Economic Advising, as well as the founder of Light Up the Lakeshore. So we're in our second year, and as you can imagine, with all the uncertainty regarding COVID-19 and especially the virtualization of schools this spring, that we had to make a couple of changes to the competition, but definitely wanted to do something to recognize all of the young entrepreneurs and bright ideas that we have out here in the world, in Manitowoc County. Thankful again to Jason and Tina at Coolest Coast for setting up the stream and doing some behind the scenes production work here. So the format of the competition is going to be really simple. It's actually, again, based on our original competition idea, where you're going to hear from 6 students that are going to be presenting basically a 90-second business pitch. And we have a panel of judges that is going to be, again, judging that pitch on the basis of 4 major criteria, one being the description of their product or service, one being their marketing approach, a third being their understanding of competition, the fourth being level of presentation, and there's also a 5th category, which actually gives you the ability to determine whether you would actually, as a judge, invest in the competition or in the business. So as we're thinking through these pitches, 2 things to keep in mind. Again, these are high school students. So I'm always amazed by the quality of ideas that we have in the level of polish that we see in these students, which again, represent kind of the future of Manitowoc County and the future of the business community. So the first entrepreneur that we're actually going to welcome to the stage was gracious enough to join us in the offices here down at Vagabond. So we're going to welcome Aubrey Hassemer from Michigan High School. And she is going to come up and present her idea for, let me make sure that I get the idea right here. And I'm going to actually just check you into the competition as well. I'll talk a little bit about the platform after we get through Aubrey here. We're going to hear from Aubrey and hear about her idea for Lakeshore renovation and design. Yep. So let's get on you right here. And we are going to set you up right there. Look into the camera. Have a seat. And whenever you're ready.
Okay, so my business idea is Lakeshore Renovation and Design. It is kind of a similar business to the show Fixer Upper, if you've ever seen it. It's on Home and Garden TV, and what they do basically is they buy a house, and it's usually kind of like really needs a lot of work. So they have to do, whether it's like foundational repairs or maybe a leaky basement, and like obviously cosmetic repairs to update it. And then they can sell it for a much higher price because when they get it, it's kind of really run down. And so my idea was to start this business for Manitowoc County because my grandpa is actually selling his house, and it would be like a great starting opportunity because I know what's like wrong with the house because he's had it for 40 plus years, and it would just be a good starting point to test out some ideas for cosmetic repairs and dealing with some like basement issues because he has some things like that. So that's it.
Awesome. All right. I have questions. Yeah. Oh, okay. Aubrey, why don't you come back? They're going to ask us some questions. Yeah. So let's bring in some. So bring in Dan and Todd. Dan, Todd, and Roger. How about that? Okay, you got to give her the earbud. Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
So do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, so I have a question. This is Dan Brosman. I'm with the Center for Entrepreneurship at UW-Oshkosh. Are there certain properties that you would like to target or a certain price range?
There would definitely be a certain price range, especially in the beginning, because I wouldn't have as much money to grab from, like, let's say in my business savings or checking account. Like, as it went on, I would be able to buy more expensive homes and repair them. But the goal is kind of actually to get the more rundown and cheaper going rate houses, just because the goal is to renovate the community and kind of add curb appeal to the area.
Cool, very good.
So Todd Nilsson from Two Rivers Biz Starts. I was also interested, did you look at what kind of competition you might be able to see in the area here, like places that buy and flip houses already? How would you guys be different from that?
So I do know of some places. Specifically, I'm from Michigan, so I know there's like Resic Construction. I know there's some businesses like Bartow Builders and things like that. With our business, I don't really think that there's one around here that's really like aimed in the same direction. So it would be more of like the people aren't involved until it's ready to sell. Whereas like with companies that are like building a house, usually they already have the house and they're fixing it up, or they're buying it straight off and building it. So I didn't really see much competition for this around here.
Okay.
I mean, they're similar, but like, yeah.
Would you, because part of the goal here is sort of curbside appeal and kind of improving the look of the Lakeshore, would you see that there's like a public support element to this, where you would go to different municipalities or cities and get some kind of funding towards community beautification? Is that part of the model?
For sure. So I work at Bank First right now, and one of the community service things we do for Michigan is through Michigan Magic, which is Michigan Area Growth and Improvement Committee. So they do planters around town. They do like yard of the month type deal. So I really think that they would be a supporter of this, especially for the Michigan community. I haven't really looked into Two Rivers as much, but I'm sure the Chamber of Manitowoc would be supportive for Manitowoc.
Great, thanks.
Is that all?
I think so. Nice job.
All right. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to pop back in here and thank those judges. Just want to introduce them very quickly too. So our three judges this evening are Dan Brosman, who is works with the Alta Resources Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at UW-Oshkosh, which is another one of my wonderful affiliations. And Dan can talk a little bit about the Alta Center a little later. And repping the Light Up the Lakeshore 2019 t-shirt is Todd Nilsson from Clock Tower Advisors and Biz Starts Two Rivers. And then our final judge is Roger Rusoff, who is the most awesome executive director of Two Rivers Main Street, who just dropped off the stream because I believe he's having audio issues. So just wanted to give you a little sense now of as Aubrey's here, of a few of the things that we're doing to recognize our entrepreneurs. So again, one of the main purposes of this event is to provide scholarship support for entrepreneurs and students with an entrepreneurial spirit in Manitowoc County. And we'll discuss kind of the way that we're going to do that as we get towards the end of the event, when we have those when we have some final results to share. Another thing that we do is we always give those students something that's inspirational and gets them to think about, kind of building their entrepreneurial journey. So Ryan Koff at UWGB actually turned me on to a series of really interesting children's books. And one of them, as you'll see here, is by Kobe Yamada, and it's called What Do You Do with an Idea? And so since Aubrey is here, hey, Aubrey, what I like to do is present you with your book.
Thank you.
Which also has one of our really awesome stickers. And if you'd like, feel free to promote everything. And
I will.
if you want to hang out, feel free to do so. If not, you can always hop on the site and
Sure.
see where the results end up.
Yeah, I'd definitely be willing to help with it next year.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep, we'll be back in the fall.
okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. All right. Well, that was our only in-person participant tonight. So we are definitely moving along. And now I'm seeing on the bottom of my screen that we have a whole bunch of other entrants coming into the room. So, as we're getting organized, and let's bring Courtney up. I just want to give you a little sense of, again, two things. One, just wanted to mention our sponsors. So again, this event is sponsored by Investors Community Bank, BizStarts Two Rivers, Nutrients Incorporated, Raleigh Point Economic Advising, Vagabond Creative Studio, and Screaming Conuts. And if you haven't been out to Screaming Conuts this summer yet, it's a great time to do so. So with that, I want to welcome our second contestant, Courtney Isselmann, who has a much better view from behind her screen than I do. And Courtney is going to talk about her idea, which is, ironically enough, or appropriately enough, the Outside In Recreation and Dog Park. So, Courtney, the stream is yours.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay. So here's my pitch. Imagine you're walking your dog on a perfect summer day. It's warm and dry, the sun is shining, and you don't have a care in the world. Your family is kicking a soccer ball in a field nearby, and soon you'll stop for a quick lunch at the local cafe. It sounds great in theory, but take a look outside. More than likely, you'll have to face a number of problems. How does blustering wind to the face sound? Little paws tracking mud all over your sofa? How about your kids kicking that soccer ball into traffic? We all know the health benefits of getting outdoors, but in our fast-paced world, it's beneficial to have a chance to escape responsibility and the unpredictable Wisconsin weather. Introducing Outside In Recreation and Dog Park, the place for families and their dogs to gather and maintain a well-rounded lifestyle. With the goal of bringing the outdoors in, the facility offers floor-to-ceiling windows and an open concept space to be utilized by both pet owners and those who simply want to stay active as a family. Outside In doesn't have any direct competitors, and think back to that perfect summer stroll. At Outside In, you can walk in a warm, dry environment at any time of day. Forget about outdoor dog parks, which become inconvenient in the dark of a winter afternoon or the scorching summer sun. At Outside In, our training equipment won't wear down after a few years in the elements, and we offer toys and treats right on site. Feel the weight of worry about your kids drop off your shoulders. They can stay entertained in our playground area, which is circled by the walking path. If they're feeling hungry, they can stop by our cafe for a snack and get right back to a game of soccer on the artificial turf. Other recreational facilities lack the ability to bring the whole family together in a natural-feeling and pet-friendly environment. With the opening of our exciting new facility, you won't have to feel like your family's activities or the well-being of your pet have been turned inside out ever again. And that's the pitch.
Well, thank you, Courtney. And we'll bring the judges back in and let them, do their thing. All right, gentlemen, it's all yours.
I love it, Courtney. I have a black lab who's 1 year old, and he's going nuts right now, and I know he would benefit greatly from something like this. I'm actually shocked there's nothing indoors right now that is in the area. So question, have you thought about costs?
I have thought about it a little bit, but not like extensively, but I was thinking also kind of the thing is the last pitch of getting the community involved. This would be a place where like a lot of the community could get together, where in the winter months a lot of people might feel isolated otherwise. So I thought that would kind of be like a community event to bring everything together in a central area.
Hi, Courtney. Roger Rusoff with Two Rivers Main Street. How much space do you envision this needing?
I was envisioning if there was like, we do have older buildings in the area that have a lot of space. So I was thinking if a space like that could be utilized where it could be fairly big for people to be able to have space for multiple families. So yeah, that was kind of the goal, is if you could get a pretty big building so that a lot of people could be together in one central place.
I love that idea. I think it would be potentially be a great reuse of an older building.
Yeah, Courtney, thanks for your presentation here, and appreciate the outdoor view that you've got with you. I was wondering about if you had any thought to how you would market this to area residents.
Sure. So I was thinking, especially in schools, that would be a big way to market toward families with like young kids, but also just in other areas where pets are normally in the area. So there are places where pets are like for boarding or for grooming or that type of thing. But in a lot of those areas, you can't really have like exercise or anything like that. So I thought those would be two big places to market towards.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if the judges have no further questions, Courtney, again, very jealous of the patio view. Thanks for the awesome pitch, and feel free to hang out on the stream. And we'll, be back with all the winners and, all the lovely prizes very shortly here.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So let's see. Who do we want to bring up next? It's this weird version of chat roulette where I'm seeing a whole bunch of screens and just wondering what looks interesting. Actually, I have a great idea. Let's bring Kirby Hurlbert up into the screen. Because again, he has he's already said like he's, getting ready to stream Fortnite. Love the setup. And Kirby's actually one of our returning entrants. He presented this in spring of 19 with a great idea for an airsoft range, which I'm still waiting for, and I'm sure that in an era of post-COVID, we're all looking to burn off some energy. But Kirby's actually back this year, sporting a fresh haircut, and ready to share his idea, another great idea. So Kirby, the floor is yours.
So I was at my brother's football game this past year. It was actually homecoming, and I was really kind of having issues with windburn, having tons of wind hit me in the face, and I just couldn't see effectively. They threw out towels at one point, and I covered my face with it, and that helped a bit. Well, the issue is I was starting to think that what if I had something, because I had a hoodie on, to fold up from my hoodie to cover my face, such as like a balaclava. Well, I came up with the idea of what I call the bala hoodie. A balaclava generally is worn over the head, and it's a ski mask. Everybody knows essentially what that is. But with the bala hoodie, it would have these flaps that would secure to the side of the hood, and if needed, you could easily fold it over your face with eye ports, and maybe we could have models with or without mouths, and also make it so it's easily breathable out of material that would be you can breathe through it as well as keep you blocked from the wind. To be able to mesh it together, we definitely try to use a metallic material along with magnets, making it so you have less chance of it causing different harm or irritation to your face, such as there is already an example of this out there where it's a zipper up the front. I don't see that being very comfortable, as the fact that you have a piece of metal continually rubbing on your nose. But if it's sewn into the fabric, it won't have that issue. There's a lot of people, especially in our area, that do enjoy the ability to go out and hunt, go fishing, or just go on a hike. And with the Wisconsin weather, you never know what you're going to need. So having some way to cover your face so you don't have to deal with having to continually wipe your eyes because of tears, or just maybe it's just all of a sudden it comes up on you and you need a way to keep yourself that's a little bit warm to be able to get back to the car. I found that 40% of Americans over the age of 16 engage in different outdoor activities such as hunting and fishing. And think about it, you could easily market it to their children, as a lot of the times children tend to tag along with their parents to go hunting or fishing. So my age group would probably be from 5 to about 75, or ages that I would probably try to find would be common, that they can still go fishing and hunting, but maybe not with without a little bit of struggle, or they still are able to enjoy it without having to have all these different worries in their head about going out to go fishing. That's what I have.
All right. Well, thanks again, Kirby. And we'll bring the judges back in, and they will have their questions for you.
Hi, Kirby. So who are your competitors?
Well, it generally would probably be some of the more name brand companies such as Under Armour or Nike. Granted, they don't have any materials that are being on the market currently similar to this. Like it said, there is a companies that are making something that zips up, but it's generally more children's clothing, and it's not necessarily engaged for the outdoor lifestyle. It's more or less just to, I don't know, I think I saw one, it was like something for Fortnite of all things that they made something for. But mine would be for someone who likes to spend time outside and don't have to worry about windburn on the face, and it also just helps you stay warm, because I'll be honest, most guys aren't looking to be wearing scarves when they're out on the field hunting or fishing, because I don't know, most guys don't find it very fashionable. More guys would rather have something they could fold from their hoodie, because I like to wear a hoodie under my winter jacket as I am doing hunting or fishing.
Hey, Kirby, nice to see you again, and thanks for bringing a new idea back to the group here. I'm interested in the whole process. What do you think it would take to get a prototype of this going? And I appreciate you've got sort of a practical view of sort of what you'd like to see, but how would you go about getting a version of this created?
Well, I'd probably go to maybe like a thrift store or something like that, pick up a hoodie that would be cheaper, and I have some ability to sew, not necessarily as much as a seamstress, but I could definitely start to work on different prototypes. You'd go from a drawing phase and then start to work on an actual prototyping, finding different materials that work really well, trying to find what's the most comfortable. I'm not necessarily sure of a time frame, but I bet I could figure out something within a month or two.
Kirby, I got another question. Have you thought about a price point, and have you thought about where you would possibly sell these, like your main channels?
I would definitely try to target different sporting goods outlets such as Cabela's, Dick's Sporting Goods, even Fleet Farm. All these are very well known for being able to find all these different types of products. I would definitely have to compare it to other products on the market that are made of similar materials, such as from companies such as Under Armour and Nike, and then to try to be able to be competitive with them. If not, maybe it's just going to be coming down to what the materials cost to then be able to make a profit from it.
Kirby, do you have a target price point in mind that you would like to try and get to with this?
I could see definitely them going for anywhere from $40 to $50, as most Under Armour sweatshirts I think are about that, but they don't have what the hood part that I would offer, and that would be something that I think people would see and they would want to have, because I can't tell you how many times where I had to basically have my eyes closed the whole time as I'm walking through a field because there's so much wind hitting me in the eyes and I can't be looking around trying to find game.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks, Kirby. Thanks for coming back, and it's great to see now a graduate of Two Rivers High School, competing in the tournament, my alma mater. So now that we've heard from Kirby, we're actually, I think, a little bit past the halfway point of the competition. So one of the other things I wanted to mention is that this competition is really only possible because of the technology virtually that we're using to accommodate it. So we're using a platform called StreamYard to bring all of our folks into and out of the into and out of the room. And I think we actually have another visitor coming in, which will be fun. But anyway, another piece of the technology that we're using is actually a product that is developed by our entrepreneurial friends in the state of Kansas and a developer studio out of Wichita called Moonbase Studios, or Moonbase Labs rather, that has a platform called Venture Dash, which our judges are using and our students use to enter. And you'll see the wonderful way that we're actually measuring and reporting out those events or effects later in the evening. Apologize. We have another visitor that has stopped by the offices here, and we'll let Ryan settle in here a bit. And let's go to Nick Wellnitz, who's another Roncalli student, and Nick is going to tell us actually about an idea that's new to the market, but not necessarily new to the U.S. So, Nick, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So, our idea, I did this with Bryce Potes, was to bring a Texas Roadhouse to Manitowoc. So, have you ever been traveling past Manitowoc on the interstate in the mood to have a juicy steak at a sit-down restaurant? Well, a Texas Roadhouse in Manitowoc can fix that problem. A Texas Roadhouse near the interstate would be in a prime location because it can draw from all directions. East from Manitowoc and Two Rivers, west from rural towns, and north and south along the interstate. This would be a great addition to the Manitowoc area because there are mainly fast food restaurants right off the I system. Texas Roadhouse will be a great addition to the area around the interstate system because there aren't many sit-down restaurants, and especially for the reason that they serve steak. Texas Roadhouse is attractive to all ages, but they can really cash in on families. Many people that are over the age of 50 enjoy hearty meals with steak and potatoes. Texas Roadhouse is worth the expense because it has great variety. Weekday deals would also be a key opportunity to get families in the door.
Hey, Bryce, go ahead and unmute yourself. There we go.
Our competition includes other sit-down restaurants and bars in the Manitowoc area. Examples of this competition includes Friar Tuck's, El Tequila, Luigi's, Applebee's, and Courthouse Pub. We are the better option because we attract customers of all ages, including families, and draw people from all directions along the interstate and Calumet Avenue. The food is high quality for a more reasonable price than that of Courthouse Pub and has a casual dining scene, but also has more variety of steak than Courthouse Pub and Applebee's. The other competitors, including Friar Tuck's, El Tequila, and Luigi's, are competitors because they are sit-down restaurants, but they do not supply the specialized menu item of steak. We hope these aspects of Texas Roadhouse have shed some light on the competition, and we look forward to seeing you in the restaurant.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And let's bring our judges back in.
Nice job, guys. Have you thought or looked into the total investment and costs and potentially how you would go about with getting those funds?
Well, I know with Texas Roadhouse and those kind of like franchise locations, it can be pretty hefty cost to start one up, but the initial investment in getting a loan for that investment would pay off in the long run because of the money you can make over the long run. It wouldn't, so definitely you would be kind of in the hole a little at first, but over time you'd be able to gain enough revenue to see a profit.
Nick, Bryce, nice job. Why the two of you? Do you guys have any kind of special connection to the franchise for Texas Roadhouse, or what would you be bringing to the table here?
Well, so Texas Roadhouse, I don't know. I work at Culver's, so I'm kind of interested in like franchise locations. And Texas Roadhouse is kind of, I mean, somewhat similar, but also like a sit down. It's not like a fast casual. It's more of a dine-in option that's more, I'd say, even better than that of Culver's. But so that's kind of why.
And I kind of just like Texas Roadhouse, and I just don't think there's enough sit-down restaurants in Manitowoc. Like, I think we need a variety, because right now we don't have, like, even like steak. I don't think we have enough sit-down restaurants.
Do you guys have a location that you had your eye on that you'd like to see?
Yeah, so sticking to like the interstate, along the interstate, because that's, many people can see that with signs. I know Manitowoc, the city, just acquired a bunch of land to the west of the interstate, a bunch of farm field. So like in that area.
Great, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, and great job as always.
Thank you.
And hang around. We're gonna, we'll be back with you shortly, and gonna kick the judges out again. They get to go back into the green room and enjoy all of our wonderful hospitality and refreshments. And actually, again, as we come up to the final stages of the evening, we actually get the opportunity to welcome back another one of our returning entrants, and one of our returning entrants with another great idea. Set that up here, and so we're gonna set the stage here for Ryan Jacoby, who's going to talk about his new idea for Study Buddy.
Thank you. Good to go? Hi, my name is Ryan Jacoby, and in the fall I will be enrolling into Roncalli High School as a junior, and this is my business idea. Have you ever been stuck, frustrated, and at your wit's end trying to figure out a certain task or homework assignment? Then allow me to introduce you to Study Buddy. Study Buddy is an app that allows you to get answers to questions fast from people with teaching degrees or who are very skilled and certified to give answers. This app works as a low commitment side job for the people answering questions, and a very convenient and effective way for students to find the answers they need while at home or away from school. Study Buddy is not limited to any grade of students. It is something accessible to any student as long as they have an electronic device to use, such as a phone or computer. The people on the app who answer the questions are called teachers. Original, I know. And although they may not all have a teaching degree, if they are on the app, then they are qualified to help answer your questions. How it works for them is that they will have chosen one or multiple subjects on which they can answer questions on. Questions from students of varying ages will be sent in, and the teacher can pick one and answer it the best they can and present it in some form of the ways provided on the app. For example, a video, a text document, drawing, or models and charts. Once the student views the answer to the question within the time slot it allotted and initially set up by the student, which is the minimum is 24 hours, the teacher will be paid by the app. They can also be rated by the student on how helpful this answer was, which will increase the teacher's rating. This will prompt more students to go to this teacher for help, and while the rating increases, so will the pay. There are about 3.7 million pre-K through high school teachers that all might be able to join this app. From the student perspective, the setup will differ from the setup for the teachers. There are about 56.6 million pre-K through high school students and about 19.9 million college students in the US who have a variety of questions that they are struggling to come up with and could use some extra help. For the students that simply have to download the app, they simply have to download the app for free on the App Store or Play Store. It can also be accessed by almost any web browser, but will make them sign in each time if not downloaded. They then will input their full name, email address that they want to be contacted on, and grade. This will create the account and the information can be edited at any time. When they have a question, they will either supply a picture of the question with their work or explain it as text. Then select the subject the question fits under. Give a time limit, which is the minimum is 24 hours, and post it. Certified teachers will then see this question and can decide whether or not to choose it, and considering they have many other questions that they can help other students with. The student can then respond to the teacher and rate them once their question has been answered. The teacher will then appear in a recent teachers list so that if the student likes them, they can ask them more questions. Now, there's a great amount of leniency in what school-related questions a student can ask, but there are times when a teacher can't exactly answer the question. For example, a student may ask a teacher to write a full essay for them. Obviously, the teacher can decline, but if they want, they could give some helpful advice. But I would not advise writing the entire essay for them, considering it will most likely do more harm than good to the student. StudyBuddy has the edge on its competitors like Yahoo Answers and Wikipedia because of the credentials required for the teachers to give answers and the ways the teachers are able to present the solutions, like videos, documents, drawings, models, or charts. For the students who need not just an answer, but a detailed explanation from an outside source, StudyBuddy is the best option. Apps like PhotoMath can't compete with the problem solving and explanation that a real person can do, as opposed to an advanced calculator. Another app that would be a huge competition would be HWPIC, which is an app that is very similar to StudyBuddy, besides one big issue. HWPIC locks some of its problem-solving explanations behind price tags, which is to say they cost money, as opposed to StudyBuddy services being completely free. Let me make this clear. This app isn't meant for lazy students to get answers for questions that they know they could do. This app is meant to be another facet for learning, and the questions being answered aren't supposed to be just the answer. It is meant to explain how they got to that answer, and perhaps where the students may have taken a few wrong steps in finding it. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
What would it cost to build something like this, Ryan? I'm not familiar with that kind of technology, and I'm really curious about it.
I'm not sure the exact price, but it would be a hefty amount, considering it requires a lot of app making and, people to check if teachers are credentialed.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea. Have you thought about your initial marketing strategy to push it out?
I figure a decent amount of advertising, probably more on the modern take, since it's supposed to target students, college and pre-K through. So probably Spotify, those sort of music outlets, probably YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, I agree. Great presentation. I'm intrigued by the idea. Do you have coding experience yourself, or do you have an idea of some folks that you might approach for building the initial version of the app?
We have a teacher at Ron Colley, Mr. Stevens, and he's very good with coding. I have not taken the coding class myself, but if I were to start that process or ask where to get more info for coding, I would go to him.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Right. So as we welcome Ryan in, and Ryan's actually another one of our returning competitors. So I showed Aubrey the book that we give to first year entrants, and this is the book that we're giving to second year entrants, which is again by Kobe Yamada, and it's called what do you do with the chance? So Ryan, thanks much for taking a chance on this one. And so that actually wraps up the entries that we have this year. We did actually have a total of 11 entrepreneurs enter in the fall, or in the spring rather. But again, just recognizing that with the challenges of getting everybody connected, especially after the school year, and students who are checking their email about as often as I am some days, we're just, again, grateful that we could get an event put together as quickly as we could, with, again, all the entrepreneurs that we had, that joined us this evening. So we're going to take a little bit here to just kind of collaborate or compile scores. Judges, let's see, let me just look here and see who's actually judged. I don't see, let's see, okay. So I'm looking at, we've got 2 pitches that we need to score here yet. So judges, if you want to take some time and put those in. I see that I'm actually seeing scores pending, which is good. It's one of those things that's really interesting about technology, is that you're seeing technology make things very easy to do, but it also requires a lot of babysitting, which is what we're seeing with the platform. The other thing that I'll just mention here as we start to get the scores in and start talking about winners is that the purpose, again, of the competition is to provide really 2 things. One is to obviously provide some scholarship support for these students, both to consider developing their own business ventures, as well as to support them in their further studies. But beyond that, the other real intent that we have with Light Up the Lakeshore as it relates to Manitowoc County, and it's a similar mission that I know that Coolest Coast shares, is to highlight the wonderful ideas and the wonderful leaders that we have in this area, and also to inspire those students when that idea actually comes to fruition, and when they get that spark that actually motivates them to take the leap and become an active business owner, that they consider doing that in the communities in which they grew up. Just because, again, we are like many areas across the country, in many small communities in Wisconsin that, quite frankly, can use some new ideas and big dreamers. And as Courtney demonstrated, we've got some great patios and just lovely scenery that you can enjoy while you're doing that. So let me just check back in here and see where we're at in terms of scoring. It looks like we have scores now from for all of our competitors. And so let me give you a sense again of the competition and prizes. So thanks to the generosity of our sponsors, especially Investors Community Bank, BizStarts 2 Rivers, Nutrients Inc., and Raleigh Point Economic Advising, we're able to offer a relatively modest scholarship pool, but again, something that is, we feel, significant within the area. So we are going to be offering a minimum of $500 to the winners. And again, the actual amounts will be announced when we're able to compile sponsorship and see what those receipts look like. A $500 scholarship for the winner, $300 for second place, and $200 for third place. But again, we don't want any of our competitors to feel discouraged. So we're going to be awarding everyone a minimum of $100 scholarship, which we will then arrange with those students to receive, most likely by virtue of another one of our great ideas, the U.S. Postal Service. So, Dan, I know that you're still on the stream. I didn't know if you wanted to take a few minutes and maybe talk about the work that you're doing with the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and especially the idea that I know that we had discussed this spring for your statewide high school business idea competition.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Jeff said, I'm with the Ultra Resources Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at UW-Oshkosh. It's a bit of a mouthful. We run startup programming for students on campus. We run different pitch competitions, a large-scale business model competition that's supported by Craig Culver, who comes back and judges, shares his story. We run a accelerator program, so teams receive funding to participate, and then we take them through a 12-week program to help them take their idea and turn it into a full-fledged concept. And they're going out and validating their business idea, talking to potential customers, and making changes along the way. Right now, we're in our summer program, and it's a more intensive version of our accelerator. 2 teams get additional funding. We give them $10,000 each. They get to work all summer on their idea from dusk to dawn. And typically on campus, when we're on campus, because we're running this virtually 100% this summer, we have space that's co-working space. We have 3D printers, resources, mentors, and we try to give them every single resource possible to help them be successful. In addition to those staple events that we run on an annual basis, we partner with companies to run different corporate innovation challenges. We're a part of other pitch events, such as the Fox Connections, the Pitch Fox Cities, and Ryan Koth from UW Green Bay helps to coordinate that. And that's a collaboration between all the different universities throughout Northeast Wisconsin. And this event was postponed and will be held in Oshkosh in April. So check out the pitchfoxcities.com. And then, as Jeff was saying about the high school involvement, we're heavily involved in different high schools, running contests, Shark Tank-like events, doing ideation workshops. And we also, this year, we were planning to run our first statewide high school business model competition. Unfortunately, we had to cancel it this year, and we're going to pick the pieces back up to run it next May. And the winners of that event will receive scholarship funds for school. So lots of different startup programming, lots of grant funding available to students. We have many different mentors, connections throughout this state, and we try to set you up for as much success as possible.
Awesome. Thanks again, Dan, for being one of our judges, and I'm proud to be a Titan.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeff.
Excellent. So let's let's go ahead and share the screen. We're going to pull up the leaderboard here, and let's see who's actually won this little competition.
I got to go to the screen.
Oh, sure.
Share it first.
Yep.
Go back to screen.
Yep.
There we go.
All right. So these are the scores. Interestingly enough, there was a 6 entrance, which was again Brandon Regina from Roncalli's business idea, which was really interesting again. And this was more for a kind of a sneakerhead score or sneakerhead type of athletic shoe care business. So as you can see, the scores are relatively close. But this year's winner is Ryan Jacoby with his idea for Study Buddy. And Ryan just left us. I'm sure he's probably off to find some ice cream or something. Second place is the Outside In Recreation and Dog Park from Courtney Isselmann. Third place is the group of Nick and Bryce with Texas Roadhouse. Kirby Hulbert comes in fourth with Ballahootie, and Aubrey Hessimer comes in fifth place with Lakeshore Renovation and Design. Again, all wonderful ideas. Wanted to thank all the competitors, and thank all the competitors, all the community support. Again, want to thank our sponsors, Investors Community Bank, Tours BizStarts, or BizStarts to Rivers, Nutrients Incorporated, Raleigh Point Economic Advising, Vagabond Creative Studios, Screaming Conuts. Again, Emily Riss, again, one of our brightest young entrepreneurs in the area. Go and get yourself a Conut, because again, all of our small businesses need all the support they can need in these we can give them in these trying times. So have a great summer, and we'll be back in the fall with more information about Light Up the Lakeshore, the 2021 edition. Hopefully the post-Corona edition, and we'll be sure to change the color palette to something else that's lovely and neon. So again, thanks for watching and have a great night on the coolest coast.